The crowd filled every corner of the capital square. Thousands had gathered to witness the downfall of the kingdom's most hated woman. Princess Elara stood on the wooden platform, chains wrapped around her wrists, only 28 years old. Yet her eyes looked far older. The people shouted insults. Traitor! Enemy of the crown! She deserves death! Elara lowered her head, not because she accepted their hatred, because she knew the truth. She was innocent. The real traitor stood only a few feet away, Lady Vivian, her cousin. The woman who had spent years weaving lies around the kingdom. Vivian stood beside, the king wearing black mourning clothes. To everyone else she appeared heartbroken, but Elara saw the tiny smile hiding beneath her veil, the smile of victory. Years earlier, Vivian had forged letters, bribed officials, manipulated nobles. One by one she destroyed every person loyal to Elara. And now the final piece of her plan was complete. The king rose from his throne. The accused has been found guilty of treason. The crowd erupted. Elara's heart broke, not because she would die, but because nobody believed her. Not even her own father. The executioner stepped forward. The blade gleamed beneath the sunlight. Elara looked at the sky. If I had one more chance. The sword descended. Everything went dark. Elara gasped. Her eyes flew open. Sunlight streamed through silk curtains. Birds chirped outside. For several seconds, she couldn't move. Her hands shook. Slowly she looked around. The bedroom. The paintings. The furniture. The same room she had occupied 14 years ago. No. She jumped from bed. A mirror stood nearby. The reflection nearly made her collapse. A 14-year-old girl stared back. Golden hair. Bright eyes. Young face untouched by years of suffering. Elara staggered backward. This isn't possible. Then memories flooded her mind. The execution. The betrayal. The lies. The war. The deaths. Everything remained crystal clear. Tears rolled down her cheeks. Not from sadness. From determination. She had been given a miracle. A second chance. And this time things would be different. This time Vivian loses. Asterisk. Within days Elara began quietly changing the future. She remembered every ally who had died protecting her. Every noble who had been manipulated. Every servant who had disappeared. One of them was an elderly librarian named Marcus. In her previous life, he had uncovered evidence against Vivian. Before he could reveal it, he mysteriously died. Elara immediately sought him out. She arrived at the library. Marcus looked surprised. Your Highness? Elara smiled. I came to borrow some books. That conversation saved his life. Over the following months, she secretly warned him about future dangers. The first piece on the chessboard was protected. Many more would follow. Asterisk. Vivian soon noticed changes. The young princess no longer behaved like a naive child. She asked difficult questions, observed everything, trusted almost nobody. Vivian grew suspicious. But she underestimated Elara. One evening, Elara secretly followed her cousin through the palace. Hidden behind a curtain, she watched Vivian meet with a corrupt noble. Money exchanged hands. Documents were signed. The conspiracy had already begun. This time, Elara gathered proof. Every conversation, every transaction, every secret alliance. Instead of reacting emotionally, she built a case. A trap. And Vivian walked deeper into it every day. Years passed. At 18, Elara had become beloved by the people. She visited villages, helped farmers, funded schools, protected merchants from corrupt officials. Meanwhile, Vivian's influence quietly weakened, because every scheme she launched mysteriously failed. Bribes disappeared, witnesses survived, victims escaped. Vivian began to feel something unfamiliar. Fear. For the first time. Destiny was slipping beyond her control. Then came the event Elara remembered most clearly. The assassination attempt. In her previous life, a trusted general had been murdered. His death triggered chaos throughout the kingdom. This eventually led to civil war. The night arrived. Elara rode across the city under darkness. She reached the general's estate moments before the assassins struck. A fierce confrontation followed. The attackers were captured alive. Under interrogation, they revealed everything. Names, payments, orders, and every trail pointed toward Vivian. The kingdom finally began seeing the truth. The royal court assembled. Nobles filled the grand chamber. Vivian stood confidently before them, certain she would escape once again. Then Elara stepped forward. One by one she presented evidence, witness testimonies, financial records, secret correspondence, confessions from assassins. The room fell silent. Faces turned pale. Vivian's confidence disappeared. No. Her voice trembled. This isn't possible. Elara looked directly into her eyes. You thought nobody would ever uncover the truth. The king slammed his staff against the floor. Guards surrounded Vivian, the cousin who had once destroyed Elara's life, was finally exposed. But Elara's greatest challenge still remained. Foreign kingdoms prepared for invasion. Internal tensions threatened rebellion. The same events that once destroyed the nation were approaching. Yet this time she was ready. Using knowledge from her previous life, she negotiated alliances before conflicts erupted. She exposed traitors before they acted. She united rival noble houses. Slowly the kingdom stabilized. The civil war that once killed thousands never occurred. For the first time in decades, peace spread across the land. Years later, the aging king addressed the kingdom. Citizens gathered from every province. Nobles filled the palace. Soldiers lined the streets. The king raised Elara's hand. My daughter has protected this kingdom more than anyone alive. Cheers erupted. Today I name her my successor. The crowd roared. Elara looked around. At the people she had saved. At friends who had survived. At a kingdom still standing. This was the future she had fought for. Not revenge. Justice. The coronation bells echoed throughout the capital. Elara walked toward the throne, not as a victim, not as a prisoner, not as the condemned princess who once faced execution, but as a queen. The crown rested upon her head. The crowd cheered, and for a brief moment, she remembered that terrible day on the execution platform. The screams. The betrayal, the blade. Then she smiled, because fate had given her a second chance, and she had used it well. The innocent princess who once died in disgrace became the greatest queen her kingdom had ever known.